Okay, so I've owned the car now for about 5 months, and I thought I'd do a quick video on the most common questions I get asked about the car, whether it's online or in person. And the first one that people always ask when they pull up next to me, or if I run into them in a parking lot or something, they go, "What year is it?" They see an old Land Cruiser and they're just curious about what year. And I think it's an easy icebreaker question first. And it's 1987. The second most common question I get, which is usually a quick follow-up to that one, is what'd you pay for it? Everybody really wants to know how much it cost. And which is kind of funny. I think because the market is so all over the place on these things. I mean, you could spend a couple thousand on one that might need a lot of work, or you can spend 30 plus thousand on a mint one or a heavily modified one. But personally, I paid $5,800 for this one. It took a bit of hunting. It took a lot of negotiating, but that's what I ended up getting it for. And usually when I tell people that, they're usually like, "Oh, that's such a good deal," and that's not very much. And I think people also want to know what you paid for it, because they're, if they're fans or they want to get a car like this, they want to know, well, what's it going to cost me to get one like that? And then the third most common question I get sometimes after that is, "Hey, do you want to sell it?" And the answer is always no. Or I've also gotten, "Hey, do you want to trade? Like, I have a 4Runner or something. Do you want to trade for my 4Runner?" And I'm like, "No." Then they're not new 4Runners either, just in case you were wondering. But yeah, so those are the most common questions I get asked, which are pretty funny. Now, the thing about what did it cost you? There's a lot in that, because if you're actually looking at these, it's kind of like buying a pet or something. If you go out and buy a dog, it might cost you a few $100 or whatever, whatever kind of dog you get. But then there's all the vet bills and the dog food and all that. That's kind of like buying a Land Cruiser. Like, you buy it, that's just your entry fee to get into one of these. And then once you have it, there's always going to be, it's an old car. There's always going to be things you want to fix. There's always going to be modifications you want to make. So, that's your ticket to play, is what you initially get it for. But if you're looking at buying one of these, budget on just having a monthly fund that just goes right to the Land Cruiser. So anyway, just wanted to give you guys an update on the car and some of the most common questions I get asked. And now I'm home.